Hello, beautiful beings. It's very rare that I make a video one day after the other, for YouTube especially, but I felt really called today to dive into the topic why play and playing with life and reclaiming our ability and our awareness that we are playing with life is essential to actually really tapping into our responsibility and our creative potential. So when people hear play, the word play has so many belief systems around it. Um, when we were playing as kids, how that was received by the adults around us, what playing means to us. A lot of the times it means just being silly, or that it's something not allowed, or that it's a waste of time, or that it's irresponsible. And these unconscious beliefs keep us from being able and open to playing. And some people even believe they don't even know how to play. That play is like, I don't know how to do that. It's awkward. I don't have time for that. Like, not now. Especially parents could be like, I do not have time to play. And this is like a deep ache in my heart because, in a way, we are always in a play. The only difference is that when we aren't aware that we're playing, we're basically playing. That's my incense burning. It smells like strawberry shortcake, but blowing smoke. When we're not enjoying the game we're playing, that's when we think we're not playing. And another thing is that I'm kind of gonna like tackle this from multiple angles so we can like actually relate to play in a new way. And I might as well share the deeper intention and purpose of why I show up online and offer playful pathways and talk a lot about play, and how sometimes I could be talking about play, but it could seem really serious and deep. So a lot of the time people say, I don't have time to play. I don't know how to play. Play is bypassing. How can you see life as a game? And the heartbreaking thing about this is that when one feels that toward play, it just reflects and shows how far they are from a state of authentic expression, liberation, creating impact, collaboration, being in true intimacy with your children. For parents, if they are far from being able to play or seeing that they're playing in life, children will seem like a burden. Being a parent may turn into some curse that you just can't run away from. And the truth is that children are closest to that truth. They have the least amnesia. And when a child is out of whack or like rebellious or intense, a lot of the time it just shows and reflects how far the parent is from being aware that they're always playing. When I witness children, and I have worked a lot with children within the Waldorf education system, within the regular education system, within a program called Outside the Box, which is all based on play, based on science and the health of the brain. I also was like, done a lot of theater with kids, and I've been immersed with children, even though I'm not a parent yet myself. But what I have seen and witnessed is that children are reflecting how far one is from the truth of life and the source that creates all of life. They act as these energetic mirrors and filters, and they have zero tolerance for inauthenticity and dishonesty of the soul. And so it's sad to see that it's changing now, but like being brought up in a culture where children are perceived as a burden rather than leaders of the new age is just sad, because it could be so much more simple if we really get real about life being a play. Now, so this is like one of the major reasons I show up here, is because my soul has a contract and agreement that I made before entering this body again and again to bring play in to this evolutionary life process so children can feel more safe, supported, seen. And so this intergenerational relationships that we have can bring in more joy, more ease, more peace. And so we don't have to experience this unnecessary suffering of life. For some reason, those words came through a few years back when I was traveling in Costa Rica, that there's unnecessary suffering. There's like suffering of life for our evolution and the grief of it and loss and the growth pains of our soul in this human experience. And then there is unnecessary suffering that is based on misperception, distortion, confusion because of games we got stuck in or ways we call reality. So let's play with the word play being a lubricant energy, meaning it can lubricate patterns that may be dense, that we might call reality, realistic, normal. Play has a way of melting those patterns that may feel like prisons, like stagnancy, like stuckness, like dis-ease, the state of lack of ease. And so when we get more comfortable with play and we let go of the judgments around play being unfamiliar, a waste of time, irresponsible, just for fun, and we see it as an actual practice, we can actually begin to melt the patterns that are keeping us stuck and tap into states of how much liberation there is within every single moment of life. Every single moment of life, there is an opportunity for you to play with play. And I'm not saying this to shame or to judge. I'm saying this to like begin playing with this relationship that we have with the word play in our psyche, to get familiar with play in a new way. And so let's dive into what I've been kind of saying at the end of my videos, like playful pathways. Kind of like wanting to come out of the closet more. What is playful pathways? So I'm going to give the skeletal, which I hope you'll get a lot out of just by talking about the skeletal of this structure that I literally feel was gifted to me piece by piece by the universe, which is why I show up in devotion, because it's given me so much joy, liberation, fun, creativity, connection, intimacy, health, wealth, these codes, and I just want to share it in this video about what we can play with in life. And so the skeletal structure is kind of funny because the way it was gifted to me is that all these aspects of life that we can play with, that we can explore, that we can be curious about and wonder, when we do that, it creates this lubricant that allows malleability into our human experience. And so these different keys, which is why it's funny, is that they all begin with a P. It's just so funny. I didn't plan on it. Even plan has a P in it. It's just crazy. Silly. So the first thing we can play with is play. How do we relate to play? What is play? How can I play with play? Playing with play within itself is a whole puzzle piece. Is even begin being open to relating with play in a new way. There's a whole way to play with play. What play is that through exploring silliness? Is that through breaking patterns, through just playing with things or playing with certain actions? Is it, how do we play with play? I'll just leave it at that. Another puzzle piece is perspective. We can infinitely play with our perspective. Perspectives are like our beliefs, our ideas. It's usually like a word sequence, like a thought. And when we play with perspectives through different triggers of like, what if, or other kinds of games, like it's totally possible, like from Kyle Cease, he plays that game of like, it's totally possible that when we start playing with how we utilize words and with what word equations, we become perspective artists. We become thought artists. There's so many ways to play with perspective. And there's a lot of stagnant patterning in our home-based perspectives, like, well, this is reality. This is the perspective that majority holds. And so there's a whole art around how can I play with my perspective? And a beautiful way to begin playing with perspective is asking the questions, asking your mind brain the right questions that create perspectives that land well in the body. And so there's a whole world around playing with perspective. And those perspectives that we play with and we anchor in become the stories we tell and the stories others tell others, and become the story of what we call life and history, or her story. Another aspect we can play with, another puzzle piece, is perception. Now, perception is a little different than perspective. Perception is more about how we perceive, how we receive information. External information, how we digest that, light, sound, color, sensation, different sensations. Relationships to things. And then there's internal perceptions. So perception has two landscapes. How do we play with how we're perceiving our external reality? How do I relate to this material? Am I focusing, let's see, am I focusing on its color? Am I focusing on the sensation? Am I focusing on the sound it makes? Am I focusing on imagining and wondering what it will be like to have it on me? There's so many ways to experience that subtle moment. How do I perceive it, and playing with that? Internal perception is different. Internal perception is kind of like, some may call it the psychic senses, right? Clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience. It's like, how do we play with our knowing? How do we play with our feeling others' feelings? How do we play with our intuitive hearing? Like, that isn't the physical hearing. How do we play with our imagination and the sensation our imagination creates? And in that, there's a whole other segment of imagination engineering, creating, engineering life through our imagination and playing with that. So these are only 3 puzzle pieces so far of the playful pathways. And each one is a whole planet to play with. So we've been through playing with play, playing with perspective, playing with perception, external and internal. And then there is pure possibility. How do we play with the state, the home base of anything being possible? The home base truth of the quantum field, that all possibilities exist and that they're all equally valid, they're all equally real, they're all equally tangible. How do we play with that? It's kind of like if you've been to Burning Man, being at the center of the playa and knowing that wherever you go, it's a whole adventure. Any subtle direction or angle is like a whole other experience. How do we play in that space without attaching to things, to experiences just yet? How do we play within pure possibility? And then there's pain. Oh, so many ways to play with pain. Pain is like, the way I like to describe pain in its purest form is, it's the contraction of the heart pulsing life. It's like, imagine a heart, it like contracts to pulse fresh blood and life force. It's like contraction, expansion, contraction, expansion. And pain is like that contracted state right before the fresh yes to life. And there's a way to play with pain. There's a way to play with it in a way that allows it to yes and the life we wish to experience. Pain is a whole planet to play with. I just thought of the, what's that cartoon called with the emotions? I can't remember. They're like different, kind of like playgrounds to explore and play with in the different emotions, like Inside Out. Yeah, kind of got that visual now. So each of these puzzle pieces is like a whole planet to play with and different ways to play. Pain, like there's so many beliefs around pain and what pain is and what you do with pain, and when we start playing with it, it's like an infinite universe of what we could possibly do with pain. And then there is purpose. Like people say, like, what is my life purpose? I want to feel purposeful life. Purpose and passion kind of go hand in hand. They're like buddies, and they're ways to dance with the two, like a two-legged puzzle piece. There's so much to play with what we're passionate about. How do we play and get into the authentic expression of what we are passionate about? How do we feel that deep, honest, naked truth with our soul's true passion? And how does that lead playfully to a purposeful life? There are ways to play with these things. They're not stagnant. They're not, dead ends. They're planets to play with that are continuously pulsing life into us. And then there's people. How do we play with people? Each person having their own infinite potential, pure possibility, perspectives, play, perceptions. Like, what do we play with people? How do we even begin to relate when anything is possible and all is well? Like, how do we do that? How do we share our passionate purpose with people? How do we meet each other in pain? How do we play in those realms together? That's a whole other way. There's like a whole, within Playful Pathways, there's a whole new way of relating to children, to people we work with, to housemates. How do we communicate? How do we relate? Language is only the first like subtle layer of sharing our perspectives. This video I'm sharing through words, and that is limited. There are different ways we can actually interact and play with each other through awareness, attention, sound. There are different ways to exchange information where it can feel more playful. It may even feel like we're going back to age 3, which may feel quite shamanic. There are different ways we can relate with people. And like when we play with all these pieces, we become this portal, which feels like a playground. And we truly embody the planet that we are with our unique frequency. And when we anchor in that malleable state of ever-changing playfulness where our innocence feels safe, our inner child feels truly safe, supported, and nourished in playing with all these puzzle pieces: perspective, perception, play, pain, passion, purpose, people. We become a portal, a living planet, which, because of the beautiful fragrance of play, it feels like a playground where all is well. That's what it kind of like a playground feels like. You're here to play. And from that space, we literally begin becoming this flower of life, of portals swimming through one another, visiting each other's playgrounds in the name of play. Now, does this sound responsible? Responsibility, our ability to respond. And what better way to reclaim our responsibility as co-creator beings, rather than through reclaiming our way to play again. When we actually tap into our abilities to respond to different things, feed our attention and our awareness to different realities, we really get to tap into, oh, I forgot power. I'm kind of like free flowing with this. We really get, I guess this is the right moment, but to re-embody and reclaim that power that we have within us. It's not something outside us, it's something within us. That, how do we play with that power in a way that rejuvenates and reveals the power within others? That's a whole architecture to it. There's a certain ecosystem that is naturally harmonious to all. And that is the state where all children are nourished, feel safe to be who they are. As adults, this is the most responsible thing we can do for future generations, is to reclaim and befriend again our ability to play and to see that we are always playing. And some games are absolutely horrific. Horrific. They're so horrific that some people think that is the only way we can live life. And that is sad. That brings up pain. And I'm sitting here right now making this video because I've played enough with pain so I can show up here and present these pathways. I came from a lot of pain. All I knew was pain. I had to play enough to learn what joy and peace was. I didn't really know. I was deeply, deeply, deeply programmed to believe that life was endless, hellish suffering. And the only way I deprogrammed those patterns was through curiosity and wonder and play. And I have witnessed through that curiosity and wonder the planet shifting before my very eyes. And this is in no way bypassing the suffering of the world. And this is in no way being irresponsible. I'm showing up here on these videos for the well-being of the people. And it's scary sometimes because I know how many people are suffering right now. And I contemplate a lot of the time, is me showing up and preaching about play, is that really going to ripple and echo? And as I check in again and again and again, this is my soul's authentic truth. This is the why of why I've chosen to be in this body and this person again, playing this part. And if it was my last day on earth, I would still be talking about this, which it might be. You never know. So play with, like, what if you are always playing a game? Where can you bring in curiosity and wonder to any of these puzzle pieces in your life? There may be one that resonates with you more now. Maybe you can start playing with your perspectives. Maybe you can start playing with your pain. And what is pain in your life? Maybe you can start playing with people in new ways and relating in new ways. Maybe you can start playing with your perceptions and how you stare at a wall. There isn't anything that is more valuable to play with than playing with another thing. Just bringing awareness to the fact that you can play in every moment, and it could be in really extremely horrific emergency situations. Oh, what if this is happening for the well-being of all? What if this will resolve? Even that, playing with perspective in that way, seeing how it makes your body and your psyche and your nervous system feel. sharing that story with a person. Oh, wow, I played with my perspective, and then this and this happened. To shift the home base narrative of what this life and this planet is for each other, together, for the children, for our internal child, as well as the children. So I really hope that this video resonated, that it gave you something that you feel you can begin playing with. There's so much in each puzzle piece. I did my best to just go over the skeletal structure of playful pathways in a way that had depth to it. And so if you watch this video, somebody mentioned that there's issues with commenting on my videos. I'm not sure. I'll try to check that out. But I really do love meeting you, if this resonated with you, to co-create more resonance. And like, it really inspires me to know that it's reaching a heart out there. And so let me know, please. It just fuels me with so much inspiration. Sitting in front of this video camera sometimes and posting things out there can feel really odd to me when I haven't done much in-person things lately, but I'm getting back to that. So yeah, comment, how did it resonate? Where does this, like, if it's an ache, if it's a question, if it's a resonance, please do share your echo of this. And yeah, please do subscribe or share this with someone if you feel it can support their lives for the better. Yeah, so yay, yummy things that are cooking is there's a collaboration with my amazing housemate, Hannah Taylor, who is a relationship technician. Her technology is relationships. And we're having our first collaboration on June 30th at 11 a.m. Pacific. It's an online group experience called Playing with Emotions. And so it's going to be so fun and so deep. And you'll be able to sign up with the link in the description box below, or via my Linktree. You can visit it. It's the first button at Playing with Emotions. Other things that are happening are playful pathways. I've been journeying currently one-on-one with people and meeting people with where they're at and where playful pathways can serve them in the highest and best way to anchor in their playground structure, and using playful pathways as that lubricant to melt patterns that may be carrying some stagnancy, stuckness, creative block energy, depression. Obviously, I'm not a mental health specialist. This is all art. So if you're wishing to experience this form of art, then it can really support that artistic expression in you. So yeah, reach out for that. There is an application, or we can hop on a curiosity call to see if it's a fit for you. I still have those running, and you can schedule that via my Linktree. And also, Play Portal membership is opening up again. I literally just decided that it's July 7th, and I've done this for many months in the past, and it's been absolutely phenomenal meeting regularly. It will be a twice-a-week meeting in a group, and we'll be playing with each other around different topics every meeting. I feel like a very prominent topic will be play relating. So like, how do we play in relationships? And we'll build upon that. So there'll be a special rate for those who first join, and hopefully those who have played with me in the past in Play Portal membership will return. We went really deep around many topics in the past. And so I'm really excited to reignite that from a deeper, more potent space after a lot of ego death that I've been going through in the past year. So I'm excited to meet you on one or any or many of these platforms. And if you have any questions, or if you're curious, you're also welcome to email me at QuantumPlayAcademy@gmail.com. So thank you for being you. Thank you for fueling the currency of your funneling and fueling the currency of your attention here, which is the most valuable currency on the planet, in the galaxy, in all of existence. So thank you for yes-anding this frequency through gifting your attention here. I wouldn't be showing up if you wouldn't be watching. Or maybe I would, but that'd be a little crazy. Anyway, thank you for being you. Mwah. Because all the other parts in the play are taken. Bye.